Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining in for our Srimad Bhagavatam study session. Let's begin with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtake Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupada Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining in for our Srimad Bhagavatam study session. We are currently on Canto 1, the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are continuing from chapter number 13. This chapter is entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. So we are talking about how magnanimous Vidura is, that he came back after his Yatra, after having met Vidura, after having met Maitreya Rishi, after having obtained the transcendental knowledge from these gurus. He is coming back to Hastinapur to actually take Dhritarashtra along with him towards the path of self-realization. Otherwise, Dhritarashtra is now still holding on to the throne, sitting on the throne, although Yudhishthira Maharaj has actually been crowned as a king, right? But he is still attached to the throne and he does not want to give up anything. So Vidura is coming back just to do a great favor to Dhritarashtra. At the end of this chapter, we see that Dhritarashtra quits home. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they leave along with Vidura. Yudhishthira Maharaj feels very sad that why have they left? Did I not take care of them properly? So that's a quality of a devotee, that they always feel that maybe I have not taken care of them. Why have they left like that? And then Narad Muni comes and advises Yudhishthira Maharaj that everyone, each one has to drive their own airplane, like Prabhupada also says, right? All of us have to individually fly our airplane back home, back to Goloka Vrindavan Dham. Of course, we are supported by our senior devotees, by our gurus, but then each of us have to do our sadhana on our own. So he actually tells Yudhishthira Maharaj not to worry about Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra will take care of himself, and he is under the guidance of Vidura. And so Dhritarashtra and Gandhari are in safe hands, like that. When Narad Muni tells Yudhishthira Maharaj, then he is at peace, and he until then he also gets worried about what is happening with Dhritarashtra. Why did he leave? So we are continuing from text number 12 of the 13th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. Text number 12. Iti yukto dharmarajena sarvam tat samavarnayat yatanubhutam kramasho vina yadu kulakshayam. Sranam's outward meaning. Iti, thus, uktaha, being asked, dharmarajena, by King Yudhishthira, sarvam, all, tat, that, samavarnayat, properly described, yata anubhutam, as he experienced, kramashaha, one after another, vina, without, yadu kulakshayam, annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. Translation. Thus being questioned by Maharaj Yudhishthira, Mahatma Vidura gradually described everything he had personally experienced except the news of the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. So when Vidura is coming back, we were reading last week about how Yudhishthira Maharaj is serving as a very, very wonderful host. When we receive Atiti Devo Bhava, we're discussing it, right? So when somebody comes, especially unannounced, then at least we have to offer them a sitting place, offer smiling, offer a nice smile, offer kind words, offer nice water. Like that, we need to offer to the guest, even if the guest is an enemy. That is what is prescribed for grahasthas. That if somebody comes to our house, we have to serve them. So in this way, Yudhishthira Maharaj welcomed. Vidura is protected Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas from various situations, that Duryodhana actually put him in. Yes, so that actually Duryodhana put him into various situations, whether it is a house set up on fire, a lakh house that is set up on fire, or various other instances. Vidura has always protected Yudhishthira Maharaj and the entire Pandavas. So, of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj had great respect for Vidura. But even if a person is coming to our home who is an enemy also, we need to receive and honor them nicely, give them at least a place to sit, give them water, speak kind words like that. So, what to speak of Yudhishthira Maharaj, who had such great regard for Vidura. So he welcomed him very nicely, and then after discussing various things, then he was asking, because he is gone on Tirtha Yatra. So he asked him, when he came back via Dwarka, right? So he generally asked him, how are everyone? How is Lord Krishna? After asking everything, then he is asking about how Lord Krishna and the Yadu dynasty, everybody, all their relatives, how are they doing? But then, by that time, Krishna had already ended his Leela. Krishna had gone back to Godhead. But Vidura is not telling that news to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Right? So devotees do not want to agitate others. Devotees, it is better to not give out a bad news. Right? Unless we are in a position to, unless we are the authority that we have to declare this bad news to Yudhishthira Maharaj or to anybody. Right? Even in our spiritual life, right? It's not necessary that we have to break the truth. It's important to speak the truth. Satyam, Shaucham, Daya and Tapa. It is important to speak the truth, but it is not necessary that we have to blurt out the truth without knowing the time, place and circumstances. So Vidura here does not talk about Lord Krishna having left to the spiritual world. He answers all other questions of Yudhishthira Maharaj, but he does not talk about how Lord Krishna and how are the members of the Yadu dynasty, right? You all know how Krishna had arranged for the entire Yadu clan to fight amongst themselves, right? That pastime of where Samba, actually he put some cloth inside, and then he dresses himself like a pregnant lady just to test Durvasa Muni and others, and asks them which child will be born, whether it will be a male or a female child. And of course, Durvasa Muni got he understood, he got angry, and he just told that you will give birth to a lump of iron. Right? And that lump of iron will be the cause of the destruction of the entire Yadu dynasty. So in this way, pre-planned by Krishna, because Krishna is going back to the spiritual world, Krishna also arranged for the entire Yadava clan to go back to Goloka Vrindavan Dham. And so it was arranged by the Lord like this, that because the Yadu clan is so very special, because Krishna personally appeared in the Yadu dynasty, it cannot be destroyed by any other outsider. So what do? They fight amongst themselves. These iron rods, actually they go and throw it in the ocean, and then what happens? They become bamboo rods, and they become instruments, and they fight with each other using that, and they all die. So that's how the entire Yadu clan gets extinguished. So Krishna, as he plans his appearance, Krishna also plans his disappearance. Krishna also plans how the entire Yadu clan also disappears. So in this way, the entire thing has already happened, but Vidura does not reveal it to Yudhishthira Maharaj, right? Because he thinks the purpose for which he has come is to take Dhritarashtra and go, to teach him, to give up this attachment for name, fame, glory, prestige, crown, palace, comfort, life, etc., and to take him towards the path of self-realization. That's the reason he has come, and he is focusing on that. So of course he answers other questions of Yudhishthira Maharaj, but he is not disclosing about Lord Krishna having ended his earthly Leela, like that. Okay, text number 13. Text number 13. Nanya priyam durvisaham nranam swayam upasthitam navedayat sa karuno dukithan drashtumakshamaha. Synonyms: nanu, as a matter of fact, apriyam, unpalatable, durvishaham, unbearable, nranam, of humankind, swayam, in its own way, upasthitam, appearance, na, did not, avedayat, expressed, sakarunaha, compassionate, dukithan, distressed, drashtum, to see, akshamaha, unable. Compassionate Mahatma Vidura could not stand to see the Pandavas distressed at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose this unpalatable, unbearable incident, because calamities come of their own accord. So he does not disclose this because he's actually firmly fixed on the purpose for which he has come here. Purport. According to Niti Shastra, Sevi clause, one should not speak an unpalatable truth to cause distress to others. Distress comes upon us in its own way by the laws of nature, so one should not aggravate it by propaganda. For a compassionate soul like Vidura, especially in his dealings with the beloved Pandavas, it was almost impossible to disclose an unpalatable piece of news like the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. Therefore, he purposely refrained from it. So this is something we can also practice, right? Satyam, Shaucham, Daya, Tapa. Of course, we have to practice all of this. So we should not speak lies as much as possible, and we need to follow these moral codes because these become ornaments of a devotee. Jasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunaisatra samasate suraha harada bhaktasya kuto mahan guna manoratyena sati davato bahihi. Right? But if one has all these qualities of humility, tolerance, patience, compassion, honesty and everything, but if it does not have the essential quality of devotion to the Lord, then all of these are manoratyena sati davato bahi. They all become external because they are all in the mind, the platform of the mind, and they are not going to really help him evolve. Right? Maybe he'll be born in a Brahminical family, life after life after life. Right? And Brahmanas also have the same problems. If you have material body, Prabhupada says material body means suffering. Material body means being in the three modes of material nature, and suffering is always there. Whether one is a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or Vaishya or a Shudra, whether born in a rich family, whether one born as a poor family, it doesn't matter. If one has a material body, suffering or misery has to be there. It is associated with the body. Right? Because this world is designed as Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. It's a place of reformation. It is a place of punishment. It is not a place for enjoyment. Right? When the Lord comes, like the other day we were discussing, right? When we plan a holiday, we decide when we want to go, where we want to stay, how many days we want to be there, and then we come back. So the Lord's coming to this material world is like planning a holiday. But for us, it is not a holiday. For us, it is like when somebody does something wrong, somebody is, the police puts the person into prison, right? And the police or the court decides how long the person has to stay there to atone for the mistakes, to get punished for it. And then once he is sufficiently punished and is reformed, then he is allowed to go out, like that. So our appearance or our being born in this material world is like that of a punishment. We get into the womb of a mother because of our guna karma vibhagasha, because of our activities and our desires. We get into the womb of a mother, we get born in a particular family, and then we as soon as we are born in a particular family, we get a particular body. We are conditioned with the three modes of material nature. So Prabhupada says in a lecture, even a pig gets, if a pig, once a living entity has lived his life so badly that he has to become a pig in his next life. When he becomes a pig in the next life also, he does not think that, oh my God, I got such an unfortunate body like a pig. No, the pig also thinks now, oh, I'm getting a lot of stool, I'm enjoying myself, right? So in that way, one gets conditioned by the three modes of material nature. As soon as one takes a particular body, or one is situated in the three modes of material nature, and he tries to enjoy whatever is available. Right? In my present situation, what is it that I can do that I can enjoy myself? So pig enjoys by eating stool. Maybe a human being will enjoy by watching a cricket match or watching a TV serial or watching a movie or or doing also all those things. Yehi samsparsha jab hoga dukkha yone evate adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. An intelligent person will not waste his time in doing all these things. Why? Because this enjoyment that is caused due to the contact with the object of the senses, with the sense objects. Yehi samsparsha. Sparsha means by the touch. Right? We get some pleasure. Dukkha yone evate. It is bound to give us misery. Adi antavanta kaunteya. It has got a beginning and it has got an end. Na teshu ramate buddhaha. An intelligent person, buddhaha means intelligent person, ramate means to enjoy. Na teshu, right? An intelligent person will not enjoy the association with the sense objects, because he knows that this has a beginning and this has an end, and he will relish. Yajna Sankirtana prior yajantihi sumetasa. The most intelligent people will relish that which will give that person unlimited happiness, eternal happiness. So why did I come to this point? Yeah. So here Vidura is now actually going to take Dhritarashtra, although it seemingly it is bad for Dhritarashtra, looks like, because he is enjoying in the palace. He is getting all the comforts, but Vidura is now coming and taking him to the mountains, where he may not even get his next meal, right? It seems like he's being taken to a less fortunate situation. But from the point of view of the soul, we are eternally jivatmas, right? So what is good for the soul, right, is the ultimate happiness that the soul is able to derive by connection with Krishna. So Vidura is actually taking Dhritarashtra towards that path of connection with Krishna, which may not be materially very palatable, right? Which may not be physically a very an enjoyable experience, right? But that's what gurus are for. The gurus cut the knot of the material existence. The gurus will not speak palatable words. The gurus will not keep on appreciating us, right? Of course, they may appreciate us, and sometimes just to encourage us to perform devotional service. But the role of the guru is to cut the knot of material existence. The word guru means heavy, right? They will cut the knot of material existence. And if a sincere person follows the guru, right, Dhritarashtra ultimately he decides and follows Vidura. Ultimately he gets a destination. What Vidura wanted him to get, right? Because Dhritarashtra followed Vidura. So like that, our gurus, whenever they give some instructions which are seemingly to be unpalatable, also we have to follow those instructions, because that is for our ultimate good, although we may not find it very palatable to follow it right now. So these are some wonderful lessons we can remember, so that we can apply it in our life and we can progress in our devotional service, right? So we don't enjoy the sense objects of this world, knowing them to be Adi Antavanta Konja, knowing well that they have a beginning and an end. But I want to engage in that process which will give me Susukam Kartum Avyayam, which will give me eternal happiness, and what is prescribed by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also. Neha Vikramnashosti Pratyavayona Vidyate Swalpam Apiyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Right? Even a little bit of devotional service that is done will actually help one cross over the three modes of material nature, will give one eternal happiness. So an intelligent person will choose that, although in the intermediate situation or in the immediate situation it may seem very unpalatable. So that is the intelligence that we get by studying the scriptures. Kanchit kalam atavatsit satkruto devavat sukham Braturjeshtasya Shreyaskrit Sarvesham Sukham Avahan. Synonyms of word meaning. I hope the screen is visible. Okay. Synonyms of word meaning. Kanchit for a few days, Kalam time, Ata thus, Avatshit resided, Satkrita being well treated, Devavat just like a godly personality, Sukham amenities, Bratuhu of the brother, Jeshtasya of the elder, Shreyakrit for doing good to him, Sarvesham all others, Sukham happiness, Avahan made it possible. Okay, translation and purport. Okay, Shobha Mataji, go ahead, and then Deval Mataji can read. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thus, Mahatma Vidura, being treated just like a godly person by his kinsmen, remained there for a certain period just to rectify the mentality of his elder brother, and in this way brings happiness to all the others. Purport. Saintly persons like Vidura must be treated as well as denizens from heaven. In those days, denizens of heavenly planets used to visit homes like that of Maharaja Yudhishthira. And sometimes persons like Arjuna and others used to visit higher planets. Narada is a spaceman who can travel unrestrictedly not only within the material universes but also in the spiritual universes. Even Narada used to visit the palace of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and what to speak of other celestial demigods. It is only the spiritual culture of the people concerned that makes interplanetary travel possible even in the present body. Maharaja Yudhishthira therefore received Vidura in the manner of reception offered to the demigods. Mahatma Vidura had already adopted the renounced order of life, and therefore he did not return to his paternal palace to enjoy some material comforts. He accepted out of his own mercy what was offered to him by Maharaja Yudhishthira. But the purpose of living in the palace was to deliver his elder brother Dhritarashtra, who was too much materially attached. Dhritarashtra lost all his state and descendants in the fight with Maharaja Yudhishthira, and still, due to his sense of helplessness, he did not feel ashamed to accept the charity and hospitality of Maharaja Yudhishthira. On the part of Maharaja Yudhishthira, it was quite in order to maintain his uncle in a befitting manner. But acceptance of such magnanimous hospitality by Dhritarashtra was not at all desirable. He accepted it because he thought that there was no alternative. Vidura particularly came to enlighten Dhritarashtra and to give him a lift to the higher status of spiritual cognition. It is the duty of enlightenment souls to deliver the fallen ones, and Vidura came for that reason. But talks of spiritual enlightenments are so refreshing that while instructing Dhritarashtra, Vidura attracted the attention of all the members of the family, and all of them took pleasure in hearing him patiently. This is the way of spiritual realization. The message should be heard attentively, and if spoken by a realized soul, it will act on the dormant heart of the conditioned soul. And by continuously hearing, one can attain the perfect stage of self realization. Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavats.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, Machittamadgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. This is what Krishna says. What do my devotees do? Right? My devotees, what do? They talk about me, they enlighten each other about me. They derive a lot of pleasure and relish in speaking about me. Right? And that's exactly what Vidura has come to do. Right? While Vidura is actually explaining to Dhritarashtra why he should not be staying there, why he should take up the path of Krishna consciousness and should leave the palace, and now he should look for higher truth, how he can attain a higher destination, all of that. Right? Now that he's lived his entire life. So like that. So as he was describing the glories of the Lord, what is to be done, the spiritual, the Yatra that he has just completed, as he was talking about that to Dhritarashtra, the others were also relishing to hear about it. Right? So, Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. So, those who are like-minded devotees, this is what they do. They talk about Krishna, they enlighten each other about Krishna, they relish Krishna's pastimes, Leela, Nama, Rupa, Guna, etc. Right? So, not only is a person for whom Vidura has come is benefited, but this benefits everyone. Everyone who gets to hear about the pastimes of the Lord, they get automatically benefited. Whether or not they are the intended recipients. So, that is the glory of hearing about Lord Krishna. Anybody who hears gets benefited. And if you are around a pure devotee of the Lord and you are hearing Krishna Katha, then it is all the more beneficial. Right? Because the purity in the heart gets transferred and we are able to hear and understand more. But the mere study of Srimad Bhagavatam itself is purifying. And we are reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Right? That in itself is a purifying process. Abhibrad Aryama Yatavat Agakarishu Yavad Dadhar Shudratvam Sapad Varsha Satam Yamaha. Surana meaning Abhibrat administered, Aryama, Dandam punishment, Yatavat as it was suitable, Agakarishu unto persons who had committed sins, Yavat as long as, Dadhara accepted, Shudratvam the tabernacle of a Shudra, Shapat as the result of a curse, Varsha Shatam of 100 years, Yamaraja. So this is now we are going to the how Vidura was born, who was Vidura in his previous life, right? So the why he was born as a Shudra Putra. So that's what we are discussing here. Translation and purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Devil Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Translation: As long as Vidura played the part of a Shudra, being cursed by Manduka Muni, Aryama officiated at the post of Yamraja to punish those who committed sinful acts. Purport: Vidura, born in the womb of a Shudra woman, was forbidden even to be a party of royal heritage along with his brothers Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Then how could he occupy the post of a preacher to instruct such learned kings and kshatriyas as Dhritarashtra and Maharaja Yudhishthira? The first answer is that even though it is accepted that he was a Shudra by birth, because he renounced the word for spiritual enlightenment by the authority of Rishi Maitreya and was thoroughly educated by him in transcendental knowledge, he was quite competent to occupy the post of an Acharya or spiritual preceptor. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anyone who is conversant in the transcendental knowledge or the science of Godhead, be he a Brahmana or a Shudra, a householder or a sannyasi, is eligible to become a spiritual master. Even in the ordinary moral codes maintained by Chanakya Pandita, the great politician and moralist, there is no harm in taking lessons from a person who may be by birth less than a Shudra. This is one part of the answer. The other is that Vidura was not actually a Shudra. He was to play the part of a so-called Shudra for 100 years, being cursed by Manduka Muni. He was the incarnation of Yamraja, one of the 12 Mahajanas, on the level with such exalted personalities as Brahma, Narada, Shiva, Kapila, Bhishma, Prahlad, etc. Being a Mahajana, it is the duty of Yamraja to preach the cult of devotion to the people of the world, as Narada, Brahma, and other Mahajanas do. But Yamraja is always busy in his Platonic kingdom, punishing the doers of sinful acts. Yamraja is deputed by the Lord to a particular planet, some hundreds of thousands of miles away from the planet of Earth, to take away the corrupt souls after death and convict them in accordance with their respective sinful activities. Thus, Yamraja has very little time to take leave from his responsible office of punishing the wrongdoers. There are more wrongdoers than righteous men. Therefore, Yamraja has to do more work than other demigods who are also authorized agents of the Supreme Lord. But he wanted to preach the glories of Lord, and therefore, by the will of the Lord, he was cursed by Manduka Muni to come into the world in the incarnation of Vidura and work very hard as a great devotee. Such a devotee is neither a Shudra nor a Brahmana. He is transcendental to such divisions of mundane society, just as the personality of Godhead assumes his incarnation as a hog. But he is neither a hog nor a Brahma. He is above all mundane creatures. The Lord and his different authorized devotees sometimes have to play the role of many lower creatures to claim the conditioned souls. But both the Lord and his pure devotees are always in the transcendental position. When Yamraja thus incarnated himself as Vidura, his post was officiated by Aryama, one of the many sons of Kashyapa and Aditi. The Adityas are sons of Aditi, and there are 12 Adityas. Aryama is one of the 12 Adityas, and therefore it was quite possible for him to take charge of the office of Yamraja during his 100 years absence in the form of Vidura. The conclusion is that Vidura was never a Shudra, but was a greater than the purest type of Brahmana. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna. Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kene Naya, say Krishna Tattva, say Guru Haya, right? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a very beautiful verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kene Naya. Whether one is born in a Brahminical family or whether one is born in a Vaishya family or a Shudra family, it does not matter. What matters? Krishna Tattva, right? One who knows Krishna Tattva. One who knows who is Krishna, who am I, what is my relationship with Krishna, and is able to explain that to some other person, say Guru Haya, right? So one who understands Krishna and Krishna Tattva and is able to effectively communicate that to others can become a Guru. So in this case, although Vidura was born as a Shudra, Prabhupada explains that Vidura could be an authority. Why? Because he was talking about Krishna. He had knowledge of Krishna. Why? Because he received the knowledge about Krishna from Maitreya Rishi during his pilgrimage. That's one. Secondly, he is also talking about how Vidura is actually Yamaraj. Right? Yamaraj is, and there is this very beautiful verse talking about the 12 Mahajans. Right? Swayambhu, who is speaking this? Yamaraj is actually speaking this verse. Yeah. So he is saying Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumaro, Kapilo, Manuhu, Prahlado, Janako, Bhishmo, Balir, Vaiyasaki, Vayam. Right? It's talking about Brahma. Swayambhu is Brahma. Swayambhu, Narada Muni. Shambhu is Lord Shiva. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara is the 4 Kumaras. Sanat Kumara, Sanandana, Sanatana and Sanat Kumara. right? Kumaro Kapilo, the Kapila, the son of Devahuti. Then Kumaro Kapilo Manuhu is a Swayambhuva Manu. Prahlado is Prahlad Maharaj. Janako is Janak Maharaj, is the father of Sita Devi. Mithila, the king of Mithila, the father of Sita Devi. Janako Bhishmo is Bhishma Pitamaha. Balir Vayar Saki Vayam. Bali is Bali Maharaj. Vayasaki Shukadeva Goswami, and Vayam is Yamaraj himself, right? Because Yamaraj is telling this verse. So he's saying, I am one of the 12 Mahajans. So in this way, Yamaraj is one of the Mahajan. He is one of the Mahajano Yena Gathasa Panta. He is supposed to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans. Because the Mahajans have realized their love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why they are authorities. They are all authorities in Bhakti. In this way, Yamaraj had both qualifications in both ways. One is he is not a Shudra because he is Yamaraj who's come for the purpose, and he also had the desire to preach. So he got an opportunity to preach. So sometimes the curse of our gurus, or sometimes the corrections of our gurus, is for our good. Definitely it is for our good. Sometimes we don't realize it. But even the curse, whether Narada's curse to Nalakvera, Manigriva to make them trees, that also became a blessing. Why? Because Krishna personally got darshan of Lord Krishna when he delivered them by dragging the motor. Right? So in this way, any curse or any chastisement from a senior devotee, we should take it as a blessing. Why? Because they are interested in our progress. Otherwise, who has the time to correct others? Who has the time to go through other people's lives? Everyone's life is a big hassle in itself with so many problems. But if somebody is taking out time to correct us, then we should be grateful to them, because that person has our welfare in his or her mind, like that. Alright, so let's move ahead. So Vidura had the welfare of Dhritarashtra in his mind, and that's the reason he's come here, and while benefiting Dhritarashtra, he's also benefiting the other family members, because everybody is hearing with rapt attention what Vidura is about to say. Alright, how much time do we have? Okay, so we have about 7 minutes. Let's go through. Let's see if we can complete 2-3 verses. Text number 16. Yudhishthiro labdha rajyo drishtva pautram kulandharam bhratrabhir lokapala bhair mumude paraya shriya. So now what word meaning? Yudhishthira Maharaj labdha rajya, possessing his paternal kingdom, drishtva, by seeing, pautram, the grandson, kulam dharam, just suitable for the dynasty, bhratrabhihi, by the brothers, Lokapala Bhaihi, who were all expert administrators. Mumude, enjoyed life. Paraya, uncommon. Shriya, opulence. Having won his kingdom and observed. Okay, now Kishori Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Pranam.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of our grandson, competent to continue the noble tradition of the family, Maharaja Yudhishthira reigned peacefully and enjoyed uncommon opulence in cooperation with his younger brothers, who were all expert administrators to the common people. Purport. Both Maharaja Yudhishthira and Arjuna were unhappy from the beginning of the Battle of Kurukshetra. But even though they were unwilling to kill their own men in the fight, it had to be done as a matter of duty, for it was planned by the supreme will of Lord Shri Krishna. After the battle, Maharaja Yudhishthira was unhappy over each mass over so over such mass killings. Practically, there was none to continue the Kuru dynasty after them. The Pandavas, the only remaining hope was the child in the womb of the daughter-in-law, Uttara. And he was also attacked by Ashwatthama. But by the grace of the Lord, the child was saved. So, after the settlement of all disturbing condition, disturbing condition and re-establishment of the peaceful order of the state. And after seeing the surviving child, Parikshit, well satisfied, Maharaj Yudhishthira felt same relief as a human being, although he had very little attraction for material happiness, which is always illusory and temporary. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. Dandavad Pranam.
Okay, sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. So I was just saying that Yudhishthira Maharaj was enjoying all of the opulences that was there. Right? He was a king. He had the right to enjoy, but he was not attached to it. Right? So that is what is Yukta Vairagya. What is Yukta Vairagya? Right? Anashaktasya Vishayan Yataram Upayunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. Anashaktasya Vishayan, not being attached to the material objects. Right? It's not that, oh, if I have this laptop only, I will do devotional service. Right? If I don't have the laptop, I'll take the book and read, isn't it? So to read, if I have the laptop, I will utilize it in the service of the Lord. If I have the mobile, I will send messages utilizing it in the service of the Lord. But I should not be attached to either the laptop or the mobile or the speaker or the kartal or the water bottle, whatever may be. Whatever is available, we will use it to help us in serving the Lord and his devotees. So anashaktasya vishayan, not being attached to the sense objects. Right? These are all objects which can be utilized. The laptop can be utilized for watching a movie. The laptop can be utilized to join a Zoom session where Bhagavatam study is going on. So these are all objects, but how to utilize that object will determine whether we are yukta vairagis or whether we are bogis. Anashaktasya vishayan, not being attached to these objects. Yatarham upayunjataha, utilizing them in the service of the Lord and his devotees. Upayunjataha means utilize them. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, but not being attached to it, that I can do devotional service only if this thing is existing with me. No, there are no conditions. Our devotional service should be unmotivated, uninterrupted. Tomorrow, if there is no laptop, if there is no mobile also, I have, by the grace of the Lord, I have the Japamala, I have the book. So I should be reading, I should be doing devotional service, irrespective of all situations. So that is what is Nirbandha. But we should never give up our Krishna Sambandhe. Utilizing everything, whatever is present with me right now, I am going to utilize it in the service of the Lord. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. So that is what is called real Vairagya. Right? Vairagya does not mean I give up everything, I go to the forest. That was not even recommended for Arjuna by Krishna. Right? What did Krishna say? Ma manusmara yudhyacha. Perform your duty as a Kshatriya. And that will land you in a better place. Because if you die, you will go to the heavenly planets. Right? But if you win, you will rule an unparalleled kingdom, the entire Hastinapura, like that. So if we perform our duty in whatever situation we are placed, and with the consciousness of pleasing Guru, Gauranga and all the Vaishnavas, then we are better placed than trying to artificially renounce where our mind is contemplating on the sense objects. Right? So in that way, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to utilize everything what we have, because we are with gratitude, because who gave it to us? We are simply caretakers of whatever we have right now, right? It can be taken away at any time, or it will belong to someone else after a point in time. So today, when it is under my care, I am utilizing it in the service of the Lord. Tomorrow, when I don't have it, my devotional service is not dependent on these things. We have to be very clear, right? Because Krishna tells in Ishopanishad, Ishavasam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrada kasya svedanam. Everything belongs to the Lord. And everything has been given to us by the Lord according to what we deserve, according to what we desire, right? But we utilize them in the service of the Lord as long as it's available, and otherwise whatever is available with us, that we utilize in the service of the Lord. And Krishna is Bhavagrahi. He knows what we have. He knows if we are utilizing it in His service. So we don't have to do anything, but simply transform our consciousness to engage in 24 hours devotional service for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much. We'll end here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we'll do Harinam Sankirtan. Krishna 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 Hey Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam Rama Raghava